Hello, I'm Karen. You've decided to create your estate plan. There are trustees, powers of attorney, guardians. Now you've got to decide who is going to fill all of these roles. Don't let picking the perfect person delay your estate plan. There's a viral video that goes, I'm looking for a man in finance, trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes. It's unrealistic. Maybe a person in finance, savings account, 5'5", brown eyes is plenty good. It's important to make a plan, and there will be someone in your world who will do just fine. Let's go over the qualities that are important for each role. If you haven't already watched my other video on who's who in your estate plan, pop over and watch that too. There are many hats for many roles. Now, if you're a married person, your first choice is pretty easy. It's likely going to be your spouse wearing every single hat. That makes sense for the vast majority of married folks. It also makes sense for, let's say, a parent with one child who also happens to be a pretty decent person. But what about the backup to your spouse if you're married, or the backup to that angelic child? At this point, you might be looking at different people to fill the various roles. Each role has a different job description. There are some common qualities among some of the hats. We do see trends, but each role is unique and requires different skill sets. In the timeline of life, the first hat someone might wear in your estate plan is your agent or attorney-in-fact under a power of attorney. We're starting with one of the toughest first. What makes this tough is that it can be a very long-lasting role. It could be short or temporary, but sometimes the posts last years and even decades. It's important to name someone who is available and dedicated for the long haul. Just showing up is the most important thing. Are you naming someone who's going to accept this job? Have you even asked them? Will they stick with the job? Will they make time for your life's details in addition to theirs? There are two types of agents under a power of attorney. For the financial agent, this person should be easy to reach, good with money, trustworthy, highly ethical, maybe even a goody two-shoes, and they can be remote. The healthcare agent should be easy to reach on a moment's notice. If the hospital or nursing home calls, they often need same-day responses or decisions. This person should be comfortable making medical decisions, including those at end of life. They should know your values, and they won't press their values if they're different over yours. They should be trustworthy, of course, and it can help if they are local. For both of these agent roles, I recommend you find someone in the generation below you to name somewhere in your sequence of alternates. Now to something easier. After someone has passed, an agent may be designated to make final arrangements. This is a pretty quick and limited post. This person should know your preferences regarding final arrangements. Did you want a celebration of life or none? Did you want your ashes spread in some favorite body of water, or was it the mountains? It's good if this person is diplomatic and can compassionately communicate and work with multiple parties who might have a lot of emotion about these details. If probate is opened, a personal representative, or PR, will be appointed. These are ideals, not requirements, but we're looking for an action-oriented person, someone who is a finisher, task-oriented, gets it done, someone that could manage others, good with details. Mostly someone who takes a professional approach, whether they're a so-called professional or not in the workplace. This means they communicate well, they respond appropriately and in a timely fashion. They seek and follow legal advice. This post can last somewhere between 1 and 3 years under normal circumstances. There are two remaining roles to discuss: guardian for minor children and trustee of any trust that is created. Guardian. Well, speaking from personal experience, even if you have wonderful family who live in your same zip code, sometimes it feels like everyone is a very far second from yourself as the parent. But choosing someone is better than leaving this as a fill in the blank. The guardian is the person who would provide the hands-on parenting of your children. Ideally, they share your values and will keep the children connected to their extended family. Sometimes younger parents will choose the grandparents. But you have to think about, how old will your parents be when this child is 18? You also want to think about competing interests. Maybe your children and their children are great playmates, but possibly should you choose someone who will prioritize your kids as their number one consideration. These are tough decisions, and it's very important to revisit this decision every few years as the answers sometimes do change as your kids age and relationships change too. The trustee role is a little easier. This person, or entity if it's a professional, should be financially competent for starters. They should know your financial values as well as the law. They should be easy to reach and communicate with, financially conservative and not risk takers, keep accurate books or hire someone who will, obviously be trustworthy and highly ethical. They should consult with an attorney to make sure they are doing their job correctly. The same is true of the financial agent under a power of attorney. Prevention and getting it right from the beginning is important not only for the beneficiaries, but it's also important to protect the financial decision makers too. Well, these are some ideas on how to choose your estate planning team. There are lots of considerations to weigh. It's vital that you revisit your choices on a regular basis. Please watch my other video on who's who in an estate plan to see where all these folks fit into the estate plan. You can also watch my video about what even is an estate plan. Thank you for watching.